Welcome guys to another episode of Game Review. This time it's between our current world champion Magnus Carlsen and the famous Russian Grandmaster Alexander Grischuk. This is round 1, match 1 of the Lindores Abbey Rapid Challenge. The games were 15 plus 10 second rapid challenges. And this is the first round, match 1 of the tournament. So let's jump right into things and see what was played. So Magnus Carlsen playing with the white pieces went e4, and Alexander Grischuk went e5 with the black pieces. So knight f3, knight c6, bishop b5, knight f6, d3, bishop c5, bishop takes c6, d takes c6, Sasha sticking to his trusted Berlin Wall defense, and there was some debate here on whether or not Magnus will choose to go knight bd2. The games usually continue with bishop e6, castles, bishop d6, b3, knight d7, knight c4. Much more complex position than the line that Magnus chose to instead play knight to c4. The game continued castles, bishop e3, bishop d6. Magnus says get your bishop off the dark square diagonal, and since black wasted a tempo moving back to d6, I will improve my dark square bishop by moving into g5. So Sasha chose to play queen e7. Now I would like for you to note that there was a game played between Grischuk and Magnus Carlsen in this exact position. Instead of e7, Grischuk went rook e8. Magnus continued with h3, c5, knight d5, bishop e7, knight takes e7 check, queen takes e7, castles, h6, bishop e3, knight d7, knight d2, knight b8, and Magnus ended up winning this game quite comfortably. So perhaps this is the reason why Sasha chose to not go with the same rook e8 move and instead play queen e7. So h3, rook e8, g4, and Sasha just chooses to get out of the pin with queen e6. It might have been better for Sasha to perhaps play h6, bishop e3, a5, perhaps like a better structure, but instead he chose to go with queen e7. Knight h4, knight d7, knight f5, just going to the outpost, knight c5, h4, bishop drops back to f8, h5, f6, bishop e3, queen f7, just opening up the bishop's diagonal to perhaps at the right moment take f5 or perhaps play bishop e6. f4, e takes f, bishop takes f, and now the next move creates a threat, b5. b5 creates the threat of b4, just to point this out, b4, and if this knight on c3 moves, then black can choose to take on f5 and take 4, and with all these pieces and the king stuck in the center, it will lead to very bad complications for white. So Magnus fixes all of this with just simply playing queen to f3. Now, knight to e6, bishop moves to e3 to get out of the f4 square, bishop e7, castles long, b4, knight goes to a4, c5, and h6. Now this basically forces black to either allow white to capture, which is not an option, or to move the pawn. So black chooses to prevent h takes g7 by playing g6. Now the knight goes to g7. So white is now saying, Magnus is saying, Mr. Grischuk, please take my knight on g7 with either your bishop on f8 or your knight on e6. I will happily sacrifice my h-pawn to get strong activity over the h-file. So Sasha chooses to do this with bishop takes g7, h takes g7, and now this h file is open and ready for business. c4, some counterplay for black. Knight c5, knight takes c, bishop takes c, c takes d, c takes d. Now just to point this out, that it's a battle of whose king is worse, the white king on c1. Okay. So black can choose to take the a2 pawn, but there's free squares around the king for Magnus to perhaps just run all the way to the king side if there's any major threats, and the f6 pawn will be weak immediately, and all the complications along the h file will definitely get black checkmated if he does choose to take on a2. So instead Sasha chose to rather play a5, bishop f8. Now securing the pawn on g7 means that queen h3 is a legitimate mating threat and will immediately come on the next move. So Grischuk was obligated to basically sacrifice the exchange by taking on f8, and rook takes f8, king b1, just to avoid any complications on the a2 square going forward. Queen d7, rook c1, a4, queen e3 threatens queen a7 and queen h6, rook f7, rook c4, trying to pick up some of the pawns and create weaknesses. b3 a3, queen takes g4, and now that the queen is no longer on the d file, you can just simply start picking up the pawns. Rook d4. Now this f5 move that Sasha played, there might have been a better continuation in the form of queen d7, rook b4, c5, rook takes b3, c4, d takes c, f5. Now this pin on e4 is so much more effective since the pawn on d3 is now no longer there. So this might have been a slightly better continuation for black. Instead, Sasha went for the immediate f5. It must also be noted that these are rapid games and you can't expect a 100% flawless game to be played under such time constraints. So instead, f5 was played, rook d4, f takes e, rook d8 check, rook f8, rook takes f8, king takes f8. Now without the rooks, it basically leaves black defenseless, and he will need a miracle to survive this. Queen c5 check, king e8, queen takes c7, bishop c8, queen e5 check, king d8, queen h8 check, king c7, picking up another pawn on h7, king c6, queen c3 check, king d6, queen d4 check, and the only two main threats black has is queen d1 checkmate, and the g1 square is already covered by the queen. So once white captured on e4, the d1, and there's some imminent mate threats with queen d4 to d5, and f7 will be mating to. This is the point where Sasha called it a day and resigned. So keep up to date. Please comment, like, subscribe for more great content. We will be going through the rest of the Lindores Abbey Rapid Challenge tournament as the days progress. So please just give a subscribe a hit. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope to see you soon.